Yeah, it's good to take away your opponent from stone. The other stone has been walled out by Golden End, and Classic Pro can clearly see that. So if you're the Mongols player, someone in my chat asking how can Mongols possibly counter the Berbers when the Berbers' unique unit is a counter cavalry archer, and the Mongols are of course known for their cavalry archers. The best way would be to take an economy advantage, go aggressive, and take away your opponent's stones, and that looks to be what Classic Pro's plan is.
Yeah, here we go. 4 barracks for Classic Pro, and now archers would definitely make sense in this situation. So even if he can't build a tower over here, it looks like he's not gonna tower the stone, he's gonna tower the wood. Surprising for a little bit, I think.
Well, I think he's gonna go for the immediate damage right now, so if he towers the wood line, that's immediate damage, and eventually he could work his way over to the stone. Since he's gonna get the... Oh, actually he's going with the stable, that's really interesting. I assumed he would go with an archer range. That's a weird one.
Yep, that's true. Golden with 2 docks now, he should be able to push back Classic Pro for the time being, but still, Classic Pro's fishing eagle is gonna be completely safe, so not even a dock harassing it from Golden, and he's gonna have a tower up. Eventually, I'm not exactly sure if I like this outpost from Golden. For a moment I thought that this is gonna be a defensive tower, but no, this is just an outpost.
Yeah, that outpost gives you the same line of sight as your house, so it doesn't make much sense, but yeah, it's not a big investment regardless. Going to go with the tower now to prevent the walls from coming up. The scout play actually makes a lot of sense if you can get in real quick, like Classic Pro has done, and then move in with the scouts. And let's see if he's going to do that. It looks like he is.
Yep.
Still a hole.
This is gonna be...
And 2 scouts are in.
Yep, failed quick walls there, and oh, there is a low HP villager there on the gold mine. 6 HP villager, that is a huge mistake.
I'm sure GoldenAge never thought that any scouts would be at his base, and now he's going to lose 2 villagers because of it. And those 2 scouts are still going to get away with pretty good HP. A good advantage for Classic Pro, killing 2 villagers in the early game, and still has more fish, well, has the same amount of fish actually as his opponent.
Yeah, this has been a beautiful move. Oh, we could see another villager pick there. That should be a pick because no one is near the TC to garrison.
The 3 villagers down, wow.
That is some very early damage done. Now I'm browsing around the villagers. Those hunters are also kind of low HP, so already huge damage done by Classic Pro. Look at this, more scouts arriving.
GoldenAge needs to wall his base. He still has that little hole and the scouts are running through it. He should wall to his town center. Now 3 scouts doing a lot of damage. This might be an early GG from GoldenAge as he loses a 4th villager, and a 5th could even be on the end, and there it is, GG.
Yeah, this is a disaster for GoldenAge. Absolute disaster. I'm not exactly sure what he was focusing on for a moment. I mean, 2 scouts got inside, okay, that was a failed quick wall there, but after that, all the lumberjacks were still working there. Quick GG on Scandinavia. Nobody's gonna introduce the teams. I mean, nobody AoE, not...
we got it. Hello everyone, welcome. So let's introduce some of the players. It's currently 1-0, as Wololo Kingdoms just mentioned. We are seeing a Spanish war, as expected. In the top, we have GoldenAge playing as the Spanish. And on the left, we have Classic Pro playing, of course, as the Spanish as well, in yellow. Both players moving out towards the middle to get that hunt right away. Classic Pro shooting down a boar already. And it looks like GoldenAge will as well, although he has quite a bit of idle time to start the game. A little bit of a messy start for GoldenAge.
Now, what do you think about this approach? So, there is 2 different ways to approach this hunting situation. So, GoldenAge going with the mill very early on and going for deer. Instead, something that you rarely see from players going for the boar directly in the middle instead of luring them under a TC. Also, quite worth noting, look at this, Classic Pro already going on 3 farms.
Yeah, and GoldenAge is on 5 farms currently. So all about the food buildup. When you start with regicide resources, you start with actually a good amount of wood. You start with, I think, 300 wood. So you don't really have to worry about wood too much in the early game. And I think it's just best, try to get up to the feudal age as quick as possible. And I really like that decision to kill the boar first, because when you build your mill, you're able to drop it off right away. And even Classic Pro taking advantage of the shorefish. I think that Classic Pro probably will have a good food advantage in this early game between GoldenAge's idle time, going for the boar first, and then the shorefish.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Now, looking at maps, Classic Pro's castle isn't at a great spot, to be honest. I mean, well, it doesn't really have the possibility to snipe down the king of GoldenAge, which is definitely a factor, but more important, it's kind of blocked by this forest over here. So this is not a great castle spot, I would say, for Classic Pro.
Yeah.
On the other side, this...
Go ahead.
This is a beautiful castle for Golden End, I would say.
Yeah.
So this is
Yeah, comparing it to GoldenAge's castle, which does protect at least the left side of his main base. At least it does something. So that could be nice because you want to prevent the Conquistador raiding as big as possible. This is all about the Conquistador raiding. I don't think we'll see scouts this particular matchup, but I could be proven wrong. So you definitely want your castle in a good position, and it was something that Classic Pro decided not to restart. So each player has a restart, but they choose when to use it.
Well, I think he's confident that he can actually make this happen. I mean, previous match was kind of a one-sided victory for him, and, well, this is a best of 7, so you just have one restart. It might be a little bit too risky to call it. In the second game, when you're actually leading 1-0, we've seen way worse maps than this one. So this is not a great, or not an ideal castle, but, well, this is not gonna be an extremely huge issue for him, I believe. Feudal Age way faster for Classic Pro.
Well, once again, I have to eat my words, whatever the phrase is, that I've been proven wrong once again on this map. And last series, it was a scout rush. This series, it looks like it's going to be a militia rush from Golden End. Golden End could actually kill the deer of his opponent with this, if he so chooses. But he's hanging out in the north a little bit too much. He's not really going towards the mill.
Yeah, this is something I understand, to be honest. I mean, he's probably waiting for the free militias to arrive because still villagers with loom against just standard Dark Age militia are kind of alright. So just the sheer villager numbers over here of Classic Pro should be able to overwhelm those militias, I believe. Still...
You think Golden End goes for the king here?
Oh boy.
Oh, weak villager.
I will be... But the king! Look at the king! The king!
He's taunting them.
This definitely has to be taunting. Still, that was a huge mistake there to go for with a weak villager. I mean, that's why you have farms. Oh, he's gonna keep the gate open as well. This is a disaster from Classic Pro.
Yeah, epic disaster from Classic Pro, and just a lot of disasters in this early game for these players. The second villager is gonna go down. Nice strategy from Golden, a very creative strategy. I would not have thought of this at all. We have a 4 militia rush from Golden End. When you're playing as Spanish, I just think about conquistadors, and it's been a really good move for Golden End to go for the militias. Golden End will have to click up to the Castle Age sometime soon. So
Yeah,
I guess we'll have to see, going into the Castle Age, see what early conquistadors can do for Classic Pro before we can evaluate if this was a 100% successful strategy.
Golden going for a stable now, that's surprising to me. I mean, why would he go for a stable? He almost like wants to go for conquistadors. Only thing I can think of is husband or
no, it's the second building. Second building to advance.
Yeah, second building, but mostly you see players going for market and blacksmiths, just like Classic Pro does. So it's a little bit surprising to me that he went for stable over here. Kind of makes sense, but
yeah, I think when it's conquistador versus conquistador, the bloodlines and the husbandry upgrades could be important.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. A little bit of a waste there on the scout from Golden, and eventually that was just a very low HP scout, so it doesn't really matter that much now. Even losing these militias won't matter that much. The damage has already been done. 2 villagers killed is more than enough for Golden, I think. Also, Classic Pro is going to lose his scout over here to villagers of Golden End. A little bit of a waste there, so he won't have a chance to actually scout around.
Yeah, so neither player with their scouts anymore, both of them losing them, but it's not too much of a big deal. I think that both players will be moving on to conquistadors. Classic Pro might have a little bit of momentum with his conquistadors, but they'll probably be bogged down a little bit by these militia. They're going to have to clean them up first before moving out. Regardless, Classic Pro should have a few more conquistadors out compared to Golden End. That is if Classic Pro can keep his economy working in good order.
Yep. Classic Pro is still scouting around with his king now. He needs to watch out though, because, well, Golden End will be up to castle very soon as well. So this could get very bad for him if he doesn't actually pay attention. Or he could just call Project Belgium and hide his king right next to the base of Golden End over here.
And Classic Pro, interestingly, not going to deal with the militias. He's actually going to move out right away. Let's see if he sees he actually doesn't see the castle of Golden End, so he could run straight into it. Let's hope he doesn't. No, he's going to move to the right. And this is the right decision. Try to do as much damage as possible. Doesn't need to worry about the militias. Let's see if he can do any damage and get it.
Well, the thing is that he's gonna spot the gold, and this is basically only accessible gold for Golden, and his secondary gold is also quite an unfortunate position, so a Classic Pro could potentially raid those gold miners, and that could be a disaster for Golden End over here.
Golden End going to try to defend with Conquistadors at on his own, but since he's later up to the next stage, since he made the Militia, he is at a little bit of a numbers disadvantage. Classic Pro taking the hill, Golden End with a early Bloodlines and early Husbandry upgrade. So certainly these Conquistadors of Golden End are going to be a lot stronger if they do get into head-on-head fights.
Yeah, but yet again, I think Golden End needs to preserve that gold no matter what. So if he loses that gold, then this is kind of over for him at this point.
Of course. If you lose the gold, you can't make Conquistadors anymore, then you lose. Stable coming up now for Classic Pro. Classic Pro still has the numbers, so he can still try to pressure. Golden End, it looks like he's doing fine right now. As long as he keeps up Conquistador production, should be able to keep things safe. But he's going to move that. I would be very careful of moving out because then you leave up your gold. Monastery coming up from Golden End. Let's see how this fight goes.
Yeah, this is a good heal advantage for Golden End over here. Also, he has Bloodlines, and he's fighting no Bloodline Conquistadors. This is a great fight for Golden End over here, I would say.
Yeah, it is a good fight. I think those upgrades just made all the difference in the world, because otherwise Classic Pro would have won that. Now Husbandry coming in from Classic Pro, and Golden End should be able to chase down these Conquistadors and get a few extra hits off on them. So overall, I think we can say that that Militia Rush was 100% successful.
Yep, that's true. No Monastery up for Classic Pro at this point, so this is gonna also give a huge advantage for Golden End over here. He's not making any monks just yet, but he also has 2 relics right next to his base, so he could grab those, and he's just barely missing the 3rd one by a towel, so he could get some early relics for him as well if he wants to.
Right now, one more Conquistador from Golden End after taking a good fight there. Let's see how this fight's going to go. We have the hill advantage for Classic Pro, but still no Bloodlines.
Yeah, missing that Bloodlines is going to cost him very badly over here.
And Conquistador's going the wrong way. It's a really risky decision. Might actually pick off a free Conquistador of Golden End.
Yep. I was scared for Villager there, because there is a Villager on the other side of the house wall.
It's still a good fight for Golden End, trapping the army of Classic Pro. Classic Pro is definitely behind in this matchup. Needs to catch up in Conquistador numbers. Luckily, Classic Pro does have a second town center when Golden End doesn't. So Classic Pro needs to get his numbers up, needs to get Bloodlines, needs to defend. That's a lot of things to do when you have only so many resources to work with.
Yep, we can agree on that one. Let's see. Still 1 TC for Golden End. Is he gonna play this with 1 TC for quite a time? This is gonna be a huge issue for him in the long run. So Classic Pro will have a way stronger eco very soon. But yet again, Golden End pushing very hard, and still no Bloodlines on those Conquistadors from Classic Pro. And now Golden End is inside. He could potentially pick off a few villagers if he's lucky.
This is a very awkward position for his Conquistadors, though, because he's in between a castle and 2 town centers. Now he's going to run into the castle, and I think he probably has to... Is he going to stay there, or is he going to get out of there? It looks like he's going to get out of there. And did a little bit of damage, also lost some Conquistadors. But Golden End, with his military count, with his villager advantage, I think he should probably be thinking about maybe adding a second town center sometime soon, just to maintain his advantage.
Yep, that's true. I could imagine him placing a TC on this right side, a secondary Golden Wood. That would be a beautiful spot for him.
Golden End now coming out with a few monks to gather some relics to heal up his Conquistadors. Might be going for some sort of big push sometime soon. I mean, Golden End has to make a decision. Is he going to go forward with a siege workshop, or is he going to add another town center?
I feel like he might be better off adding a siege workshop, because this is kind of a weird TC from Classic Pro. Obviously, it's going to secure the gold for him, but yet again, a beautifully placed siege workshop with mangonels should be able to harass those villagers over there on the gold. So I feel like he could actually get some value for a siege workshop over here.
And Conquistador is getting their way into Classic Pro's base. However, Classic Pro is coming from behind with his Conquistadors. It is 5-on-5, so that means Golden End should win with his Bloodlines upgrade.
Yeah, I just don't know why Classic Pro is not going for Bloodlines. He should be going for that.
Expensive, probably.
Yeah, that's true, but he can take the fights this way, so he's gonna lose just all of his Conquistadors. Especially now that the reinforcements arrive from Golden End. this could be a disaster for him. Because I think GoldenAge can actually afford to split up his Conquistadors and run into the eco. Lumberjacks could be kind of exposed to some Conquistadors over there.
ClassicPro really struggling for the food, doesn't have enough space to put down the farms. Now taking another fight here that he's obviously going to lose. There's no way you can win that.
Yep, and the monks are arriving for GoldenAge, so we could see some conversions very soon. And he's still playing this with 1 TC. Okay, 2 TCs for GoldenAge now. So now comes the conversion war. 3 monks for GoldenAge. This is going to be extremely important over here.
Yes, 2 conversions right away for GoldenAge. That's a huge victory for him. Let's see if ClassicPro can get a conversion. Fails on the first conversion. Second monk is converting away. Fails on the second conversion. Big advantage for GoldenAge. He's got the villager advantage and he's got the military advantage. And he's looking really good this game.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful for him. ClassicPro was kind of lucky that he lost his monks before the conversions hit. And this is going to be a huge amount of Conquistadors, just 18 military for GoldenAge as compared to 8 of ClassicPro. ClassicPro also missing bloodlines. This is something that he can actually fight against at this point, so this would be the time for GoldenAge to add the Siege Workshop, I feel like.
Yeah, I think a Siege Workshop would definitely be on the cards. I don't think it's necessary because Mangonels are pretty poor against Conquistadors. Conquistadors are pretty good at the damage themselves. But I think GoldenAge should probably just add some town centers after this. Those 2 monks not able to get a conversion. Nice snipe from ClassicPro. I would like to go back to the decision of ClassicPro to add the town center on the gold. I think he added it too early. I think he should have saved up for the bloodlines upgrade then, and maybe added a few more farms as opposed to going for the town center. I think that really put him far behind.
Yeah, that could be a possibility. Now, what I'm thinking, okay, now it's monk numbers are equalized. Did you see the zigzag from ClassicPro? That was some next level dodging skills.
Yeah, really good micro from these players. ClassicPro sniping down 2 monks. Go ahead.
I feel like GoldenAge could actually afford to split up his Conquistadors. I've said this before, but now look at this. He has way larger Conquistador numbers. He could just go for the Lumberjacks on the left. That would be a beautiful snipe. He can actually avoid Castle and TC Fire and potentially pick off 1 or 2 Lumberjacks.
I think he's already in such a commanding position. As long as he maintains his army numbers and as long as he is able to pressure ClassicPro, GoldenAge should keep his economy advantage at home, and that should lead him to have a very good late game.
Yeah, that's true. Also, he's denying quite a lot of farms, as you can see, and the berries as well. So, in general, I think he might even be going for denial of food, at least partially. So, like I said, ClassicPro is struggling with space. So, for that reason, it kind of makes sense for GoldenAge to just lurk around here on the right side of ClassicPro's base and try to pick off as many villagers or just deny the farming. Because, well, you need the farms for Conquistadors as well, so...
If you look at the difference in farms between GoldenAge and ClassicPro, it's pretty stark. GoldenAge moving in one more time. He's going to take a big fight against the Conquistadors, gets the total surround on them. ClassicPro has nowhere to go, and it's pretty weird that he left his Conquistadors there to die, and there's going to be the GG.
Yeah, this is absolutely GG for ClassicPro. Also lost a villager trying to gate out those Conquistadors. Like you said, a little bit premature TC. Here we go. Third match between GoldenAge and ClassicPro in the Aspiring Experts Cup Golden League semifinals. Whoever wins gets to the finals to face Project Belgium.
We have a regicide houseboat. That would be fun. That's even funner.
Oh boy, please no. Yeah, they won't keep it, but a regicide houseboat, that would have been so glorious.
That's really cool, actually. I really like the regicide without the castle.
Yeah, it's a great setup. Well, the regicide without the castle is... Oh boy, please no. Yeah, they won't keep it, but a regicide houseboat, that would have been so glorious.
That's really cool, actually. I really like the regicide without the castle.
Yeah, it's a great setup. Japanese will be preserved for a later map, possibly for Two Rivers or Continental.
What I was thinking. Japanese could definitely be used for Continental.
So I think when evaluating this one, we also have to take it into account that it might not even be about the fact that he's actually going for Malians over here. It might be about the fact that what he can win later on with the Japanese.
Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to the third game. We had some quick first two games in the series, but it's tied 1-1. On the right side, we have ClassicPro in yellow, playing as the Malians. In left, we have GoldenAge, played by the GoldenAge playing as the Japanese in blue. I'm joined here with Liticor, and a little bit of an odd map for GoldenAge. He's got no resources towards the back. Don't you agree?
Sorry? Oh, I wasn't focusing for a second.
Look at the back of GoldenAge's base. There's no resources there.
Whoa! Yeah, this is kind of unfortunate for him that he's right next to the edge of the map, which will also limit the space he can actually work with. So the problem is that, like, if you compare that to ClassicPro's base, ClassicPro will have a lot of space at the back. This is a beautiful map, in fact, for ClassicPro. Lots of wood at the back. Also has some code and stone, but more importantly, it's somewhat about the space, because you are kind of placing your buildings around your lake. So having just your lake right next to the edge of the map will mean that Golden might actually be forced into some very tight space over here.
And we have a little bit of a different strategy actually to start the game. So GoldenAge is actually going for a quick transport and a mill across the pond, whereas ClassicPro is doing a much more standard kind of build, which is getting housed and taking a lot of sheep. So I actually like the strategy for GoldenAge because you're able to get the fast food source right away. Sure, you have a little bit of idle time at the start, but as long as it doesn't prevent you from building villagers, then you should be okay.
Yeah, I think this is a good approach. So value fishing, it's gonna help you a lot. Also, he's gonna use his sheep to scout around.
ClassicPro calling a read, and I think that's just because he got housed.
Yeah, probably because he was way behind in, well, not way behind, but definitely a bad start for him. So he's gonna use up his restart over here, which is kind of lucky for GoldenAge, to be honest, because his base wasn't that bad, or that good. So eventually, it's gonna happen.